What if I told you you were lying to yourself? All of those negative things that you are speaking into yourself, those false parasitic thoughts that are passing through your brain, that you are allowing you to stop and not put action into your dreams, are all lies. Today we are going to be talking about the lies that we tell ourselves, and we're also going to be talking about the liberating truths that can set you free from them. So let's move away from that negative and allow the positive to take space, because between the 60 to 80,000 thoughts that come into your mind, many of them just simply are not true. So I'm trying to bust out my Enneagram 8 personality, the blunt part that is usually bad, to call you out as a liar. So here we go. Welcome back to My Mother's Daughter podcast, where we choose to focus on the controllables, jump off the hamster wheel of grief, and take steps to honoring our loved ones by living a life filled with gratitude, joy, and abundance. It's time to get stubborn about what we want and choose to lean into who we were meant to be, while drinking too much caffeine, owning way more workout pants than we'd like to admit, and dreading that nightly dinner talk almost as much as waking up early. You feel me, sister? I'm Angel McElhaney, motherless daughter, positive psychology junkie, and not so master juggler of my crazy crew, and I believe that you can heal and find happiness after loss. So grab that coffee, put down that to-do list, and let's get to work. One day at a time, together. Let's get started with today's show. Hey, super excited to talk to you about this today, because out of everything I talk about, this is one of the things that has really changed my mindset, and I think it can do wonders for you. One of the things that it's based out of is really the law of attraction. By now, I'm sure everyone's kind of heard about the law of attraction, but just in case, I'll let you know how it works. So basically, you are drawing like a magnet things to you that are vibrating at the same frequency. So when your frequency is high, you are attracting abundance, you are attracting joy, wealth, all of these things that are good, okay? And when you are, you're attracting that love, that positivity, compassion, productivity, you are crushing it. Things are easy when your frequency is high. And then when your frequency is low, you are negative, you are seeing all the bad in your life, and inevitably end up with not as much good things to talk about. Like you are struggling, okay? Struggle bus. All right, so that's the law of attraction. And so these tips today are going to help you to distinguish a lot of those lies and really redirect the way you're thinking in terms of yourself and the way you're speaking to yourself, because your thoughts really are important. So the first one I have for you is, if I had blank, then I could have blank. Or for me, I think of this as, if I had blank, I would be more successful. But it really could be, if I had, like right now, if I had a treadmill, then I'd be able to get my cardio in. If I had money for that new course, then I could be amazingly successful. If I had XYZ, then I would have it made. And the truth of the matter is that you can be successful already. You don't need any of that. Technically, for instance, with the treadmill scenario, I technically could do a video. I could walk. I could honestly even go Pokemon hunting with Cohen outside. I mean, there's all kinds of things. Chase the toddler, dance in the kitchen. There's technically all kinds of ways I can get steps in. I don't need the treadmill. So that's just one example, but it is basically saying that you're telling yourself that you can't be successful because you need this thing. And I also think about this with food. So a lot of people are like, it's too expensive to eat healthy, or, I know growing up, there were so many of us in our family that a lot of times if we did eat out, we'd eat off the dollar menu because you could get more things off of it and feed more people. And so it would be like, it's too expensive to eat healthy. Like that talk that you hear or that you repeat or that you say, even little things like money doesn't grow on trees or different little things like that, to where you are speaking those negative beliefs in there. And a lot of them are core, like they're to your core, that, you can't be successful unless you have this, or, you need to do this in order to be a good mom, or whatever those could be for you. But the fact is, it's not true. For instance, we could go to Kroger or Aldi's and get our healthy meal for cheaper than going and getting the dollar menu stuff for everybody. We could do that cardio, put our steps in walking around the block, or doing some body weight exercises. We can still be successful. It's just that you need to change your way of thinking, and the whole situation, just flip it and get it more on a positive level. All right, so the next lie that we tell ourselves is, I will start blank tomorrow. So whether this is a diet, a project, a hobby, honestly, even thinking about, because we just did the episode on decluttering and I've been decluttering my house like a madwoman. Let's just talk about our closet. Oh, I'm going to wear that tomorrow. I'm going to do that tomorrow. I'm going to repair this tomorrow. This button or whatever, or I'm going to do these projects tomorrow. And the thing is everything has energy, and whenever you don't use something, it doesn't have the energy flowing in it anymore. So if you don't do it today, then you're not going to do it tomorrow. So it's all about continuing the flow of energy. So what I want you to do is, if there is something that is important to you, like for instance, daily exercise or healthy eating or organization, if any of these things are important, I want you to do a small daily habit and just do it, even if it's for 1 minute. And so, for instance, if I am wanting to be organized or keep up on the housework or something, then I need to do the activity for even just 2 minutes. And so the body is really easily tricked into continuing an activity versus stopping and switching. That actually takes more energy. So even just keeping that habit really, or routine together, that would enable you to be able to really debunk this lie too. And in the end, you would be putting energy into that area that you find important, no matter what, every day. All right, so the next one I have for you is, I can't do what other people can do. I'm too, and you can put in your adjective here, but I'm too broken, I'm too flawed, I'm too damaged, I'm too old, I'm too young, whatever it is, to be successful or to be happy, whatever these things are. And what I want you to do is, I want you to stop for a moment and think about skill versus talent. You were born with certain talents that are just innately yours. And what you'll find is that if you are in alignment with what you're supposed to do, it's going to things are going to start feeling really easy. You're going to feel like things aren't work. You're going to suddenly have the words to say. You're going to have the content to put out. You're going to have the opportunities. And the flip side of that is, you're also going to have the opportunities to grow, to become a more skillful version of that. And it's up to you to lean into that with intention. The things that you find are damage or your flaws are actually the things that are going to make you stronger, and that's going to ready you for whatever it is that you are meant to do. And I know out of all of these, this might be the hardest one to kind of hear, because it's almost like saying that you are better for what you've been through. And the thing of it is it doesn't mean that you're happy. It just means that you are positive. And those are two different things. You can actually be positive, but without being happy. So something negative can be happening to you, but you respond to it in a positive way. And that doesn't mean that you're not honoring that or that you're not acknowledging that. But what it is it's making yourself see it in a different way, because it's better for you. Now, the next one I definitely have had myself say for sure, and that is that everything would be great if I blank. So if I lost the weight, if I got the job, if I quit the job, if some people could be, if I got the man, whatever that could be. For me, I know that I would speak it out that everything would be perfect if my mom were here. And the thing of it is I would still have conflict. And it's like I forget that part. Sure, it would be 100 times better. It would be more than 100 times better. It would be so much easier in many ways because I would have that support. But that doesn't mean that I can't go and live a fulfilled life. And for a long time, I really did tell myself this lie. I depended my happiness on what's happening to me that I can't control, and that's really hard. I simply just wanted her here. I would get jealous if I saw people posting their pictures on Facebook. I would get resentful that other people were able to just at a whim have these amazing babysitters that were right down the road that could jump in and my kids, I wouldn't even have that mom guilt because my kids would always just want to be with them, So I get that there are going to be certain things that are really hard to not speak into yourself. And the fact that you will always be hurting like this isn't something that you want to keep speaking. As hard as that is that everything wouldn't. So if your mom was here, if my mom was here, I would still have conflict. Everything wouldn't be crystal perfect and rosy and all that. Like I would still have something that would be in my way because life is ebb and flow like that. Like I would have conflict still. The next lie we tell ourselves is if I ignore it, it will go away. So queen of procrastination here. And this is kind of saying that reality eventually will catch up with you. And in thinking about loss and with my mom, I would say that if you broke your leg, you would go to the doctor, but for some reason, when we have emotional pain, we don't address it in the same serious manner. What we do is we sweep it under the rug. We give ourselves, the 3 days bereavement, and then we're expected to go back as normal. In fact, I was super appalled at how many people seem to make me feel like something was wrong with me because I wasn't over it or I wasn't. The truth is that you're forever changed when something huge like that happens to you, but you can't ignore it. Like you have this, and positive psychology is not about ignoring your negative feelings, but it's kind of feeling through them. It's failing through your failures when it comes to things that you've done wrong and seeing something good in it and learning from it and really just stopping for a moment. And I know that on the podcast I was listening to, the Angie Lee show, staying in the suck. So basically this thing that happened to me, this thing that happened to you, it sucks. And it really sucks. And not having my mom here really, really sucks. And the fact of the matter is that there's nothing I can do to change it. So what I'm going to do, and that is why this podcast is here, is I'm going to remember that I'm my mother's daughter and I am going to push through it. I'm going to do all the things that I was meant to do because the liberating truth is if we do ignore it, it will not go away. Another liberating truth is that I'm not worthy. I'm not worthy of being happy. I'm not worthy of getting the job. I'm not worthy of the relationship. Maybe in this same regard, in thinking about that, is maybe I'll be alone forever or I will feel alone forever. With my mom, that was like a giant cheerleader that I lost, like someone constantly, unconditionally, totally in your corner. Mama bear, so to speak. I do remember one time we were doing a birthday party at a park and some other kid was picking on Ty and my mom went so mama bear on this kid's mom. But I digress. But anyway, basically that you won't have that protection. And so even that, like, I won't feel protected again. I won't feel safe anymore. I will, all these things that we say to ourselves, keep happiness from coming to you. And instead of focusing on this lack, I want you to turn your attention to gratitude. And in that, we have a couple daily practices that I'd like you to try to focus on. And I also want you to focus on the fact that you do have a choice. So some people even say that lie. I don't have a choice. And the fact is you always have a choice. It's easy to blame others, fate, or people in your family or spouse, you can cast blame to so many different areas, and it's not really going to make you feel better. Accept responsibility for yourself, your actions, and whenever it's no one's fault, just let it be no one's fault. It's an essential part of life, and some things will happen to you, but you always have a choice in how you react or how you use it. So I'm sure you've heard of the expression fail forward, and that is where you are taking the lesson out of every single thing that happens to you that it's negative and really allowing yourself to connect to your ideal self. All right, so how are you going to bust through these limiting beliefs? So in order to get to the liberating truths, I would like you to grab your journal, piece of paper, back of a bill, whatever it is that you have laying around, and I want you to just kind of do a brain dump, and I want you to ask yourself, where are you unhappy or dissatisfied in your life? And it might be helpful for you to break this out into different areas. There are, I believe, 7 essentials to happiness, and so if you kind of go into these different areas, that could be helpful for sure. Next up, I want you to ask yourself why. What core belief or what happened to you? What is making you hold on to this belief that's probably based on experience at some point, some life experience, negative memory that happened. So maybe this is some sort of trauma that happened in your life, or something that was a negative experience that happened that made you shift your thinking. I know that in listening to other podcasts and speakers and things, some people will mention like something that someone said that they started all of a sudden start paying attention to their weight, or maybe someone made a comment and then they associated their value with how well they cleaned their room, or they performed on a grade on a test, or whatever that could be. But somewhere along the line, someone has said something or done something, or there was this ritual or routine that made you have this belief in you. And so in order to really combat that, you need to know what it is and why, identify that limiting belief that's holding you back, and then really just kind of find a switch for that. So what is that opposite? Or find at least probably 4, 5, 6 different liberating truths that bust that specific one. There are a couple therapies or things that you can do in addition to journaling and kind of doing that really inner workings of figuring out your core beliefs and why you believe the way you are. There's also this downward arrow technique that is called cognitive behavioral therapy. And what this does is it takes the idea of your internal thoughts, not the things around you, but your internal, and focusing on those behaviors, emotions, and really just focusing those and trying to figure out where the belief came from. One example of this could be, say you think your core belief is, I'm a failure at everything. I can't be successful. I am not worthy of success. Maybe this is stemming from small experiences that can work. So you work backwards from the belief. So what that could look like is maybe someone didn't finish a meal that you cooked, and so you thought, oh, I'm a horrible cook. And so that was like one piece of it. Maybe someone passed you up for a promotion, and so you thought, I am not worthy of success. So it's kind of working backwards to where you can figure out where it came from so that you can kind of flip it on its head. So for instance, with the food one, maybe they weren't hungry. Maybe they were on a diet. Maybe they had some sort of illness that they didn't finish the meal. So basically, it's kind of analyzing why it is, what happened that made you have that core belief, and then debunk it with a liberating truth. So the truth is, like I mentioned, usually something very simple. So I hope this was helpful, and if this was helpful or you found value in this, please head over to iTunes, leave me a written review. If you want to get extra crazy, you could screenshot it and share it over in IG stories. My handle over there is angel.mcelhaney, MCELHANEY. You can check it out in my cover art or in the show notes. I hope you are taking this to help you to know that you are capable. You can do anything you put your mind to, and you are amazing. Wishing you joy and abundance, Angel.